Hey there, this is Kim Rudd with Endurance Adventures. I'm here to talk to you today about some recovery, rolling, and different tools that you can use to help your body recover if you have injuries or tight muscles. And a lot of times in skiing, we are so much crouched over and focused, and our necks get tight, our shoulders get tight. In classic skiing, our hips, and our hip flexors get really tight. So I'm going to show you some techniques that have helped me. I have recently had some injuries with about 5-6 months ago, a hamstring tear, and I've had to do a lot of rolling in order to keep my body to be able to keep moving. So I was able to avoid injury, but I need to keep on top of things. So I recommend doing a lot of yoga, Pilates. Keep strengthening your core and keep flexible. The more that we get older, the more that we need to increase our core strength, our strength overall, and then our flexibility. So one of the things that I use, that I travel with everywhere, is a lacrosse ball. And the lacrosse ball is just soft enough, but yet hard enough to really do trigger point massage. So instead of spending, hundreds and hundreds of dollars at a massage, which sometimes is just needed, this can be a great help. You can use it really all over the body, but I like to use it a lot on my glute muscles, my hips. I like to use it on the back of my neck and the back of my upper thoracic shoulders. So I'm gonna just demonstrate a couple things with the lacrosse ball. Another ball that you can use actually is this one. I got this, I think, at Gear West ski shop. Jan Gunther told me about it. That's what helped her with all of her Ironman races that she's done. And this is just a little bit bigger and it's foam, but it helps as well for a lot of recovery. So I'll show you those two things. The other one is a foam roller. This one happens to be a really long one, so you can do some different kind of stretching on there as well. Another tool that you can have in your book is, this is pretty heavy, but this is like a 30-pound kettlebell, and you'll find out later what we use for that. And then simply a ski pole. So those items we'll be talking about. So back to the lacrosse ball. So you can do it on the floor or against the wall, although I recommend if you do it against the wall that you don't do it on like a concrete or wooden wall, because I have put in holes through regular sheetrock. So doing it on the floor, you can use your body weight against it. So I simply just basically put the ball under my glute, and I roll right in the crease of my hip flexor. And I've gone to a lot of PT, and this gets really tight, and just opening that up, and then just sometimes sitting in one spot and seeing where those trigger points where it's really tight, and then rolling back and forth. A lot of times the piriformis gets tight, and you sometimes get sciatic pain, or it gets just really locked up in there, and that can cause tight hamstrings. So moving down into finding that spot where your piriformis is really tight, and then you can roll down into your hamstring, where the hamstring joins your glute muscles, and just kind of roll in that joint. And that has been really helpful for me with my injuries. You can really use this ball all the way across your IT band. And like I said, one of my favorite spots to do is my shoulder. So a lot of times I'll put this ball in a sock, and then I'll hang it behind me and then roll against the wall, so that way it doesn't slip. Or you can just simply put it on your shoulder like so, and then really find a good spot that you want to roll open too. And oh, it's just wonderful. So those are the things I recommend. You can also take 2 tennis balls, put them together in a sock, and you can roll your neck on that, or you can just use 1 or 2 of the lacrosse balls, put them in a sock, and then roll your neck, and that really does a really good neck massage for those who have really tight necks. So great thing to use. All right, now we're moving to this larger pressure point, trigger point ball. I think that's what it's called on the website. And same thing, you can use this similar, but with the bigger ball, you can roll a lot easier. I like to use this bigger ball right under my hamstring, and I just roll kind of back and forth. Sometimes I'll put the weight of my other leg on it, so it's a little more pressure, and I'll go back and forth, really massaging that hamstring muscle. And you can just go really slow, back and forth. It's really good for the gluteus. One of my favorite things I like to use with this is on the back. It helps to open up our thoracic. So I put it right about on my bra line, right about there. And then I put my arms up with my elbows facing up, and then I reach back, okay? And this helps to really open up that, because we're so much focused on being crunched over, that it helps to release that back tension in the upper thoracic. So just doing that, and then just kind of rolling on that ball up and down all the way along your upper and lower back. Another thing that I like to use this trigger point is for my psoas muscle. If you're someone like me, I'm very tight wound, and my psoas gets really tight, especially after a lot of classic skiing or running. So your psoas is kind of the muscle that's right, attaches to your belly button, and then it's a really deep muscle that goes down into your hip flexors, and it connects to back muscles. So when it gets tight, I like to do a lot of hip flexor stretching, but first I'll roll on this ball. I'll put it right under my stomach, and then I'll just lay on that and find where the rocks are. And the most important thing with this one is to breathe. Sometimes lifting up your leg and swaying it back and forth, finding out where the psoas is tight. So laying on this ball, and really important to do both sides, not just one side. And sometimes it takes 2 to 3 minutes of doing this, and sometimes it's very painful. But that can be really helpful. If that doesn't work, you get desperate and you try this thing. You probably don't need this big of one, but 20 to 30 pound kettlebell. And you can do it 2 different ways. One way is to take the kettlebell and you can just angle it like so, and then you can lay onto your psoas, and then release your psoas by laying on it. Other way that you can do it is let gravity do the work, okay? And you take this and you lay it right on your hip flexors that are really tight, and release them, and then work into your psoas. So that can be really helpful. We're gonna move on to our great, just an old ski pole that you may have. And I like to do this either standing up, or you can do it on your knees or sitting, but I like to stretch over to one side. And this is really important too, like after you're done with the ski, just take like 2 minutes and take your pole and do this wonderful upper thoracic stretch. It's the side of your upper thoracic and lower thoracic. And then sometimes I will actually go all the way around and then stand up all the way around. So play around with that. Ski pole is very useful for those kind of stretches. Lastly, we have the wonderful foam roller. This one is a little longer, so this one I can actually lay my whole body on, which is helpful because you can stretch out your arms and kind of roll and really stretch all those arms. If you have shoulder injuries like I do, I have some impingement issues sometimes. I have had level 3 separations in my shoulder, so things get tight. And if I don't keep them loose, everything gets a little bit angry. So just kind of rolling back and forth, holding it, and opening up your upper thoracic can really help. Other things that I like to use with this are actually rolling on my open shoulder, and you can roll on the side, you can roll right underneath you, and I like to use the round trigger point ball for this as well when my shoulders are really tightened up. So those are all good shoulder ones, and I love to roll on the foam roller on my legs and just going slowly, and really sometimes just stopping in spots and just rolling back and forth, and going all the way up the leg slowly, back and forth. So this can really get a lot of the lactic acid out of your legs, help with get the blood flowing after races or intervals, and it's just a great way for your body to recover. So that's good. And then you can do your opposite side. Sometimes with running and skiing, my legs get really tight. So just rolling right on the calf muscle can really be helpful to loosening up everything. Sometimes in skate skiing, our shins get really tight. So doing that can really loosen things up and help our technique, because if we're really tight, our technique will suffer. So doing that, and then moving up to the hamstring, same thing. You can just stop in places, roll, and get that blood flowing. And lastly, just using the whole, your whole body to roll on it can really help your whole spine stay flexible and recover. One of the last things too, we don't think of our feet as much, but I get a lot of cramps in my feet. So taking the lacrosse ball and just rolling that lacrosse ball under the foot can really help with cramps and getting everything circulated and stretched out. So I would say the two kind of yoga positions that I have helped me the most as a skier are opening up my hip flexor. And so what I do is I put one leg forward, one leg back, okay, straight upper thoracic, and then I do a pelvic tilt, and then I kind of lean into it, but not too much. I push against my knee, and then I tighten the glute that's with the leg on the ground, and then I reach up. And this is a great hip opener, hip flexor stretch, as well as psoas stretch, okay? And sometimes I stay there for quite a long time, a minute or so, and then I come back and lean back and do my hamstring stretch, okay? And I point and flex, point and flex. So we do the same thing on both sides. My second go-to stretch is either this one, which creates great balance, putting one leg over the other and then sitting. And this really is a good glute strengthener and balance. You can also do this on the ground and just put that leg in front of the other and just kind of roll that out, and then slowly walk your hands down and breathe. Great hip opener. So I hope all these little recovery, foam rolling, stretching activities will be helpful to you. I know that they have been to me. So have a great Christmas and New Year's, and hope to see you on the trails.